For a while now, I have been looking for the identity of this channel, but I think I finally found it. It's going to be about games with interesting stories in them. And I know what you're thinking. Yu-Gi-Oh! Really? And the one with card games on motorcycles? Yes.
That's it? No.
I promise you. No, I guarantee you that this game has a very interesting story in it, and I'm going to stake my channel's reputation on it. Well, for what it's worth anyway. So welcome to small YouTube hell. So what's going on in this game? Let's start at the beginning. Well, it looks like the apocalypse just happened. There's ruined buildings, orphaned children, and it looks like we're in a poverty district. While we're going through these places, we're also picking up cards and meeting the most important characters. Feels kinda different for a Yu-Gi-Oh game, doesn't it? So how are we going to actually see their stories? Simple, through dating sim elements. And who better us to raise up than the main character himself? Yusei. Look at him with his perfectly coiffed hair, stoic, headstrong demeanor, and sharp, unwavering eyes. The perfect main character. While you look like some hentai protagonist. In order for us to see their events, we're going to have to gain their affection first, and these are the ways to do that. You can either talk to them or give them gifts. If you're going to talk to them, you have three options. They can ask you about card trivia, which is for nerds, rock, paper, scissors, which is shit. And I don't know how to describe this, but the game calls it theory, which is controlling the water flow? I don't know. When you do it right, they give you some affection points. But if you really do it right, you can make your favorite character blush. But there's only one real way to get their affection. Beating them down in a duel. This is Yu-Gi-Oh after all. The only real way to get some respect in this world is through dueling. This is truly a work of fiction. Once you have gained enough affection to fill one heart, they will wake you up in the very next morning and tell you to accompany them. In Yusei's case, he hides in our apartment for a little bit so he can evade being interviewed. He doesn't like the spotlight of being the new duel king. Once he's clear, we offer to get out with him for his safety. But we get jumped by a couple of goons. Since there's two of them and two of us, we're going to fight them in a tag duel. Of course we beat them. We're the main characters. After the duel, Yusei interrogates them, but they don't know anything. So they were being mind-controlled. But they are very much in pain. That's kinda interesting. And that's very much the gameplay loop. Gain some affection, they wake up in the morning, and you get to see their stories. Yusei is in our apartment again, and exposition dumps that every 5,000 years, a battle between the Crimson Dragon and the wicked gods determine the true ruler of this world. The chosen ones of the Crimson Dragon are the signers, the wicked gods, the dark signers. You are not a chosen one. Maybe this isn't a work of fiction. Frankly, this isn't very interesting. But what is interesting is that you are the kingmaker of this situation. The fate of the world is in your hands. You can actually choose to partner with any of the dark signers if you want, but let's stick with Yusei for now. Let's forge our bonds with Team 5Ds. Once we get to the hospital, we see Akiza, but she's losing control of herself since her sayer has gone missing. Jack has tried to calm her down, but she has an intense distrust of everyone around her. There is only one way to reach her. Duel. Everything in this world is caused and resolved through dueling. Hell, I think people procreate in this world by dueling. But bad fanfiction aside, let's kill her. After the duel, we get a scene about them talking about being true friends, including us. It's a bit too corny, but it works. The next day, Yusei wakes us up again, but he looks terrible. He says that he dueled his former team member, Callan, he got pretty spooked of the monster that he summoned, the Earthbound Immortal, Hapu. He says that his monsters couldn't do anything about it. Alright, all this hype around the Earthbound Immortal cards is fake. The Earthbound Immortal cards suck. Sure, they're big, and you can special summon them no problem, but if there's no field spell, they blow themselves up. So you can have a big monster in the field, and then just die to MST. I can talk about stupid AI opponents later. Let's go kill Callan. He is one edgy looking motherfucker. He gets off to getting hurt, his deck sucks, and probably listens to Rick and Park. His backstory is that one day, he went off to fight the cops. He disappeared after that, with everyone assuming that he died, but now he's back, and edgier. He challenges Yusei to a duel because he thinks that Yusei replaced him with us. That doesn't really make sense though. It's more of an excuse for us to have a tag duel.
死のダンスと行こうぜ。
After he loses, he tells Yusei that all he ever wanted was to duel him again and then die. Boo-hoo. Well, he got it. But with his death, it's finally time to fight the big bad himself. Roman Godwin. Yeah, it's strange that the big bad of the first season is not in this game. But we do have the superior brother here. I can guarantee that. So what does the big bad himself have to say? Well, it's all just backstory that goes nowhere. But to summarize, he was the one who caused the destruction that you see now. And he opened the door to the underworld. All he wants is to change the world. But why? Ugh. Children's card games. Anyway, we can't let that happen. We're the heroes. The fate of the world is determined in a children's card game. Since Earthbound Immortals suck, we win very easily. After the duel, Roman says that a new god has already been unleashed, and nobody can stop it. A new god that we will never, ever see. Well, not in this game at least. This is where Yusei's story ends, ending in a cliffhanger. This ending is a little bit weak, but the other characters might have something better. So let's make friends with Jack. He's the former duel king. He starts off by waking up in the morning and telling you to come. He doesn't really explain why. Oh, he dragged us here to duel Carly. So that's why. It's because he's a bitch. He's been in a slump ever since he lost the title. Carly just wants to cheer him up with a duel. Ah, she cares. Since he still refuses to duel, she changes her tactics and starts to taunt Jack. It works. But it always has to be a tag duel. So suddenly, this girl shows up. Man, sometimes the story just bends itself over backwards just so we can have a tag duel. Well, the game is called Tag Force 4. We duel them, but they don't put up much of a challenge. You might have noticed that I have been beating this game very easily. That's only really because I've played this game before. Holy shit! 2017. I have most of the cards in the game. That pretty much means I can make any deck I want, as strong as I want, as broken as I want. Well, as strong as 2009 cards can be anyway. Well, anyway, the next day, we tag along with him through the satellite. You know, the place where the apocalypse happened. Nothing much happens here, but we do help Jack get his thoughts in order by making him meet old friends. But then Carly shows up, so we have to duel her again. Listen, Carly, fortune fairies are bad. This is too easy, but the next day is where shit really hits the fan. Jack wakes us up in a panic, saying that Carly has become a dark signer. But we don't know why or how. The only way to find out is to ask her. But when we go to see her... Whoa, okay. She says that she infiltrated the Arcadia movement, but got killed by Sayer. She then came back as a dark signer, and then she killed him. Well, now that she's back and evil and sexy, we have no choice but to duel her. Also, Misty is here. Well, even with the evil power-up, her deck still kinda sucks. After the duel, she calls out for Jack. He's there, but she can't see him. He was always rooting for someone with such passion. She tells him that he needs to save the world and to reclaim his Duel King title. He promises to do so, but then she dies in his arms. He asks to be alone for a moment. The next time we see Jack, he barges into our room and declares that he's going to take his title back. He only wants us to watch this time. Okay, I guess if you become king but no one's around to see it, then it never happened. Jack challenges Yusei, but Yusei doesn't want to. But Jack is persistent, so Yusei just goes, okay, fine. But since this is Tag Force, the narrative bends itself over again, just so we can have a tag duel. Crow shows up, just so Yusei can have a partner. We duel and beat them. Easily. I love that the screams in this game are so visceral. We win, but Jack doesn't accept it. Yusei in this state is weighed down by the guilt of his parents, killing thousands of people. Jack sympathizes by telling Yusei that he knows the guilt of killing a loved one. The one that guided him. The one that cheered him on despite everything. He moves forward, despite carrying such a sin. He tells Yusei to look at the people that are still alive. That his duty is to lead those people to the future. To stand tall and proud. I think that was a pretty emotional ending. Carly dying really did caught me off guard. But to me, I feel like the emotional impact is dampened. Because I know that she's alive. Somehow. But maybe we'll see a more permanent death. With Akiza's storyline. She starts off unfriendly though. She breaks into your apartment to ask you to guide her to Arcadia movement. We go there, but surprise, Misty and Carly are there. Your Dark Signer versions too. So Carly truly died to Sayer. Man, this Sayer person seems to be pretty important, but we never actually see him in the game. Akiza is pretty angry about this. Sayer was her purpose, Sayer was her life. Sayer got murdered by Carly, and now Akiza is going to kill Carly. A simple cycle of revenge. Revenge is the theme of her story, because Misty here thinks that Akiza was the one who killed her brother. There's only one way to settle this. Duel! The stakes are pretty high for our first duel. Each of them killed an important person in their lives, and I can't say that one of them is in the wrong. You're like a neutral party here, and the judgment falls on you. I love violence in my card games. After we beat them down, nothing much happens, because it's a little bit too early for them to be killing each other. They ran away saying that they weren't at full power. Fucking losers. The next day, Akiza just tells us to come with her, but doesn't explain why. She takes us to Arcadia movement again, but then she goes crazy and blames everything on us, all because we were a little late. She's going to make this hurt. Okay, this is getting kinda crazy. This is also a one-on-one duel too. That makes it feel kinda personal. I guess while we're dueling her, we can talk about the voice acting. Originally, the Japanese version had voice acting, but once they ported it over to the West, they got rid of it. Awkward, isn't it? I was in a predicament. I wasn't going to make this video without the voice acting. Who's hurting now, huh? Anyway, I was planning on playing the original Japanese version. Since Yu-Gi-Oh players don't read, I didn't need to learn Japanese. But that would mean I would need to make a new save file, and grind the cards and I wasn't gonna do that. At first, I thought I could find a mod that would change the Japanese version to English, but no luck. No matter where I looked, or how much I googled, there was no mod to be found. I almost gave up and started a new file, but then I looked at Yusei's hair, and I realized I was thinking about this backwards. Maybe there was a mod that restores the voices in the English versions. And there it is. So thanks to dedicated modders, thanks to them, I can make sure that you are going to hear all of these screams. After the duel, we see pretty much the same scene we've seen before, but this time, Yusei just shows up out of nowhere. So let's skip to the next day and investigate the building itself. We look for some info about Misty's brother, and we find something indeed. The next day she asks us to accompany her again, because she thinks Misty will listen to us more. Akiza must an protagonist. Anyway, we get there, and we drop the bombshell that it wasn't Akiza that killed her brother. He died because of an experiment conducted by Sayer, so that means her whole motivation, her purpose, her revenge, was already fulfilled. There's no reason for them to fight anymore. Unfortunately, she already sold her soul to the wicked gods. They were always destined to fight, regardless of motivation. We know that with you on the team, they have already lost.
あなたを倒せとね。
And the losers of this fight die. With their final words, they tell Akiza that she has no time to mourn, and she has to save the world, and to always remember them. Akiza now figures out that she will fight as a signer and not let this tragedy get any worse. Akiza asks you to let her be sad, to let her cry, even for a little while, by your side. It's a sad ending, but I think it works. Akiza's ending may have been sad, but Luna's could be sadder. The sweet and kind Luna. She comes to our apartment to ask us to help her find her missing twin brother, Leo. Sure. Once we find him, he says that he was the one who was looking for Luna, so now it's a matter of settling who was finding who. There's only one way to settle this. Oh, shut up. This is what happens when children play children's card games. The next day she comes again and asks us to come with her so she can take us for helping her. That's fine, I guess, because I'm really hurting for money. We get there and we're having a great time up until some rabid fans show up. Luna tries to shoot him away, but they're persistent. There's only one way to get rid of them. Kill them. I wish. Her next event is pretty much nothing. All the signers and dark signers meet each other at the same time, but all we do afterwards is fight some mind-controlled bozos. This is like a cowboy movie, but nobody shoots a gun. Hopefully the next event is more exciting. The next day she wakes us up in a panic and asks us for help. Leo got tangled up with the dark signer, the man who stole her ancient fairy dragon, Divac. He sucks. His deck is so bad that I could do nothing and just let Luna do everything. After we beat him, Divac just disappears, presumably dying. Hopefully. We get an ending where we pretty much pledge that we're going to protect Luna forever and never, ever harm her. After we finish Luna's story, we unlock the... Oh shit. This is Saitama without the power-up, and he's still bald. This guy's a joke. And the joke is he wastes your fucking time. Alright, usually when you partner up with people, you would tag duel their opponents with them. But not this idiot. This guy wakes you up in the morning just to tell you to watch him duel. I already told you just how bad Earthbound Immortal cards are. And he has the worst deck out of all of them. Look at that. Level 1. Absolutely bottom tier. That means you're gonna watch two bots duel each other. And he's going to lose 9 out of 10 times. Wag. Mirror Force yan. Mirror Force yan. This is the same as watching two bots play chess. Or watching actual people play the game. This is torture. I got sick of it, and I went to this guy. This shady looking MF let you edit your partner's deck. How? With the power of money. So I paid my sim tax change his deck. Oh my god, it's all bricks. It's all bricks. Who fucking puts Leogan in their deck? And watch him go. But why go through the pain of helping this bozo? Well, it's so we can finally get the man himself. Roman Godwin. To be honest, the story so far ranged from okay to awful. But this guy redeems all of that, and then some. I really don't know who this guy is in the anime. I'm sure that he's important, but not main bad guy material. On the side note though, on Game Facts, the hint says that you need to beat all of these characters first before you can unlock them. But that's wrong. You actually need to beat every other character first before he shows up. So no one has ever corrected this info since 2009. I want to get through his story, but I have to put into perspective our roles in the story so far. We were strangers to D5Ds, but after we go through their events, their duels, their drama, we have earned their unquestioning trust and friendship. But what if we choose to play with the other team, the Dark Signers? He wakes you up in the morning to offer you a chance to have fun in the fight of the gods. Of course we say yes, because we simply love the thrill of the duel. What's so special about this guy is that he's not actually going to tag duel with us. He's only really here to watch the carnage. We call upon Luna in the middle of the night, and she obliges without even a single doubt. She's shocked to see us with Roman, and Roman goads her to duel us to see that we're not the person that she once knew. Of course, she doesn't believe it, and thinks that Roman did something to us. She reminds herself of all the times we helped her, the time with Leo, the time with the ice cream shop, and the time with the ancient fairy dragon. Now, it's her turn to help us. But we beat her all too easily. After the duel, Roman taunts her by telling her the truth, that we were doing this of our own free will. He was just here to watch the carnage. But Luna still can't believe this, because you wouldn't do anything to hurt me. But despite all of this, she still believes in us. She will always trust us. We allow her to escape, injured, but the wounds in her heart will hurt more than any injury. This is an anomaly. Before, when we were going through the character stories, they were like isolated events, not really connected to each other. One time you would be killing Jack with Carly, and the other with Akiza. But now, it's an actual continuation of Luna's story. So what does that mean for our next opponent? Akiza. We call upon her the same way we did with Luna. She is also surprised to see us with Roman. Roman gleefully taunts her by telling her that we have lured her into a trap, and that we have become one of them. He tells her that she can either flee or duel us out of revenge. She chooses to duel, but does so not out of revenge, but for communication. But just like with Luna, we defeat her. She desperately asks why. Why did we do this? Even when she lost Sayer and herself, we stayed and supported her. Then she learns that we didn't just betray her. Betrayed her of our own free will. And it breaks her. She reverts back to her old violent persona due to you giving her pain beyond what she has ever experienced. She will never trust another person ever again. This is fascinating. We really are continuing the previous storylines of the characters that we have already finished. And this is a story of us betraying these characters one by one of our own free will. I didn't think the story would go in this direction, but here we are. I want to stop betraying these characters, but I'm morbidly curious to what's going to happen to our next victim, Jack. Roman tells him that we're simply here to duel. Just like with the others, he cannot believe that we have sided with the Darksigners, and he thinks he put us under their spell. Roman almost gives him the look of pity, telling him that we are doing this of our own free will. Just like with the others, it reminds us of all the things we have been through together. When he lost the title, when he lost Carly, he's going to prove this bond to Roman through the duel. And just like with the others. And now he finally understands how it feels to be betrayed, how badly it hurts. He tells you that you, and you alone, were a friend that he couldn't live without. Until now. For this, he declares us to be his enemy, and will rid of this humiliation one day. I have to say that this is getting fucking crazy, but I'm not complaining. This is a fascinating way of continuing a story. I would bet my left nut that this is something that would never happen in the show. I wanna ask the people who actually watch the show and tell me if something like this even remotely happens. I'm genuinely curious. Anyway, let's go see our final victim, the main character himself, Yusei. We do meet him, but his reaction when seeing Roman is different. He's not surprised, and he knows that it was us that mentally broke down his friends. Luna has been sick and sleeping for days, Akiza's gone missing, and Jack has been seriously injured. It wasn't Jack's injuries that was a clue. It was the injuries to their hearts. And there's only one person that could have done that. You. Despite that, he wants to make us remember the bond that we have, and tells us to duel him. But the result is the same. We beat him. But even after all we did, all the damage, all the pain, he still considers us as a friend. This is what happens when you don't have the heart of the cards. Roman gloats about his victory against the Signers. But now that they're defeated, his value as a Darksigner is gone. But we still hunger for more strong opponents, so he considers feeding the other Darksigners to us. And that's the end. I gotta say, this is evil. And I don't say that lightly. This is the type of evil that is not shown all too often too. This is personal evil. What the hell am I talking about? Well, let me give you an example. Let's talk about Berserk. Specifically, the Eclipse. Griffith, the once beautiful leader of the Band of the Falcon, now a broken husk of a human being, sacrifices his soldiers to demons, all for the sake of his dream. One by one, the members get eaten, dismembered, and killed, until only two people are left, Guts and Casca. They were also about to die, until Griffith, by then, already transformed into a Godhead member, as his first act as such, commits an unspeakable act against both Guts and Casca that leaves them both mentally scarred forever. Sacrificing the Band of the Falcon is evil, but personally destroying both Guts and Casca's psyche in the process is personal evil. Okay, we didn't do anything to that extreme, but in spirit, that's what we did. We went out of our way to hurt these people, mentally scarring them forever. We have broken Luna's heart, shattered Akiza's mind, and wounded Jack's pride. We have severed our bond with Team 5Ds. This is evil, and it's amazing. I love card games, holy shit. So, what do you think? Did this game have a story or what? I at least find it very interesting. I have a Patreon, by the way. Although I don't know what to do with it since no one subscribed there yet. It could be the first though. Just a thought.